Rishabh host. Rishabh host.
Uh, एक मिनट समय Hmm. So I've made you the host, and we are also live on YouTube also.
Okay, welcome to the session, guys. So this is the first part of speed and distance. I have already started with time and work. So in the first three lectures, I have discussed the concepts of time and work, and we have also gone through somewhere around 25 to 30 questions of the certain topic. Okay. So today we'll be starting with speed and distance. Now in speed and distance, we'll be discussing about the questions which concentrate more on the distance and the speed part rather than the work part. Okay. So this is basically the subtopic of time and work, I can say. इन दोनों में ज़्यादा difference नहीं है. Your work rate and time involves a certain formula which is given by work is equal to rate into time. And in your speed and distance, you use a formula which is given by distance is equal to speed into time. Okay. So basically, in this particular formula, work is equal to rate into time. If I consider the work to be the distance covered, then in that case, it becomes the formula of speed, distance, and time, guys. ठीक है. तो हो सकता है आप लोगों ने इसे अलग अलग पढ़ा होगा कि यार डिस्टेंस स्पीड एंड टाइम एक डिफरेंट टॉपिक है, वर्क रेट अलग एक डिफरेंट टॉपिक है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. The type of questions are different for work rate and time and speed, distance, and time based. Okay. So there is a certain set of questions that we'll be discussing with respect to distance, speed, and time, and we'll see using this particular formula what different types of questions can be asked. Okay. So in the first 15 minutes, we'll be discussing about the basics of speed and distance, and then we'll also have a look at average speed. We'll have a look at relative speed if possible in this particular video only. Okay, as the session is going to last for 1.5 hours, so we'll just try to cover whatever is possible in today's session. Okay, and if the topic gets extended, we'll be covering it in the next part. So first things first, those who are attending today's session for the very first time, please have a look at the 3 videos that I have already posted on the channel. Okay, so the first video is of time and work part 1, then we have time and work part 2, then we also have time and work part 3. Okay, so please go through those 3 videos first and then come to this particular video, है ना. थोड़ा सा अगर वर्क रेट से आप कंफर्टेबल हो जाओगे तो उसके बाद स्पीड डिस्टेंस देखना थोड़ा बेटर रहेगा आपके लिए, थोड़ा फ्लो बन जाता है. ठीक है. नाउ in today's session, as I said earlier, the first 15 minutes we will be discussing the basics. So there's a possibility that a lot of people might be aware of those basics. Okay. So let me tell you once again, we'll gradually increase the level of the questions, guys. ठीक है. धीरे धीरे करके क्वेश्चंस का लेवल बढ़ता जाएगा, तो आप लोगों को क्या करना है कि थोड़ी देर के लिए स्टिक रहना है वहां पे. Those who are not comfortable, they can just start from the beginning with me, and those who are already comfortable, just please stick with us for the first 15-20 minutes, because once we are done discussing the theoretical part, we'll be starting with the higher level questions, guys. Okay. Sure. Let's have a look at the basic theoretical structure of this topic. Okay. Now let's say you are driving and you are traveling at a rate of 20 kilometers per hour. Okay. This is what you call it as your speed of travel, and in terms of work rate and time, we can consider this as the rate of travel. है ना. So हमने देखा था कि हम एक efficiency नाम की चीज निकालते थे, है ना. Efficiency को हमने देखा था, it is also equal to the rate, है ना. First 3 videos अगर आप देखेंगे तो we talked about efficiency, we talked about rate. हमने देखा था efficiency rate हमने एक जैसी चीज मानी थी, यार एक यूनिट टाइम में होने वाला काम, है ना. So amount of work which is done in 1 unit time is called as the efficiency. We also called it as rate, guys. ठीक है. वैसे यहाँ पे amount of distance traveled in unit time will be your speed of travel. Okay, that unit time could be hour, it could be minute, it could be second. For example, I can also express this as 20 kilometers per minute, or it can also be expressed as 20 kilometers per second. ठीक है. It can be expressed in terms of meters as well, 20 meters per hour or meters per second or meters per minute. Okay. Generally, we express in terms of kilometer per hour and in meter per second. Okay. So conversions बहुत simple होते हैं. ठीक है. थोड़ी देर में आपको इसके बारे में भी बताएंगे conversions के बारे में, but I hope ज़्यादा लोगों को पता होगा ये. ठीक है. So generally, we have to solve this question either in terms of kilometer per hour or we can go for meter per seconds depending on the other values which are given in the question. Okay. Now efficiency is nothing but our speed over here. जैसे work था वहाँ पे, तो work में यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा, distance to travel हो रहा है. वहाँ पे जैसे efficiency थी, वहाँ यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगी, speed जिससे आप travel कर रहे हो, और time तो दोनों जगह t ही रहेगा. ठीक है. चलिए, let's have a look at the conversion. Now 1 kilometer is basically equal to 1000 meters. This is known to everyone, है ना? And 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds, guys. Okay. If you want to convert something from kilometer per hour to meter per seconds, let's see how we can convert. Let's say I've been given 36 kilometers per hour. Okay. And I want to convert it into meter per seconds. So 36, first of all, we have kilometers. है ना? So we have kilometers in the numerator and we have hour in the denominator. For kilometer, 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. I can just multiply 1000 by the number 36. This becomes in terms of meters. And for hours, so 1 hour is 3600 seconds. You can just divide by 3600. Okay. अभी कुछ लोग कहते हैं कि यार multiply by 5 by 18, divide by 5 by 18, है ना? ये सब चीजें याद कर लो. याद क्यों करना है यार? सिंपल है ना? किलोमीटर को मीटर में ले जाना है, आवर को सेकंड में ले जाना है, तो 1000 से मल्टीप्लाई किया, 3600 से डिवाइड कर दिया. So 00 and 00 goes, 36 and 36 goes. It's gonna be 10 meters per second. Okay. So from kilometer per hour to meter per second, it's pretty simple. Just multiply by 1000 and divide by 3600. Similarly, if let's say I have been given 10 meters per second, okay, let's say I've been given 10 meters per second and I want to move to kilometers per hour. Okay, so from 10, 1 meter. So I have meter in the numerator, seconds in the denominator. Correct. So from meter to kilometer, it's gonna be divided by 1000, right? And from seconds to hours, it has to be divided by 1 by 3600. Sorry, it has to be divided by 3600. It's gonna be simple. 10 divided by 1000 for meters, and for seconds 1 divided by 3600. है ना? So this goes upwards. याद होगा आपको, basic calculation करते थे हम लोग इस तरीके से. So 3600 ऊपर जाएगा, 00 along with the number 10 and divided by 1, 000, guys. है ना? 30 and 30 goes, and we are left with the number 36, which comes out to be again 36 kilometers per hour. Okay. The conversions are pretty simple. ज्यादा ध्यान नहीं लगाना है इसमें. ठीक है. बस इतना ध्यान रखिएगा कि या तो पूरा क्वेश्चन किलोमीटर पर आवर में सॉल्व होना चाहिए या फिर पूरा क्वेश्चन आपका मीटर पर सेकंड में सॉल्व होना चाहिए. ओके. Just a second, someone has typed something in the chat. Can we solve points where work is done by 2 different hosts, boys and girls, or men? We'll come to that category of question as well. Okay. चलिए. Also, Anand, the type of question that you're talking about, it is already there in the assignment. Just have a look at that question from the assignment, and if you're able to solve it, it's okay. Otherwise, we can discuss that thing in the doubt session. Also, you can just click the photo and send it to me on WhatsApp if you have a doubt in a certain type of question. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So we know how to convert in terms of meter per seconds and back to kilometer per hour, guys. अगर किसी का डाउट होगा इसमें तो चैट में मेंशन कर देना, मैं दोबारा क्वेश्चंस के टाइम पे फिर से बता दूंगा कन्फ्यूजन कैसे करना. ठीक है. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. Let's have a look at the type of question that you'll be getting over here. Let's say there's a person A. Let's say there's a person A who can travel at the rate of 10 kilometers per hour. Okay. There's a person A who can travel at the rate of 10 kilometers per hour. And there's a person B, okay, who can travel at a different rate. Let's say 15 kilometers per hour. Okay. There's a person B who can travel at the rate of 15 kilometers per hour. अब अगर B A को बोलेगा कि यार चलो हम रेस लगाते हैं. Okay, if we ask for a race with A, then the person A will definitely not agree with this. Why? Because person A is aware of the fact that B is faster as compared to the person. ठीक है. तो person A को B ने बोला कि यार एक काम करते हैं, let's give you a head start. Okay, B has agreed to give a head start to the person A. The race was supposed to start exactly at 1:00 PM. है ना? दोपहर के 1 बजे रेस शुरू होने वाली थी, लेकिन B ने बोला कि यार तुम हेड स्टार्ट ले लो. So B has given the person A head start of, let's say, 3 hours. Okay, so B has given a head start of 3 hours. Head start का मतलब क्या है कि the person A is gonna start the race exactly at 1 PM, but B is gonna wait for the next 3 hours to start the race. Okay. So person A started the race at 1 PM and he ran alone for the next 3 hours. Okay. he would have covered a certain distance in those 3 hours. The person A can travel at the rate of 10 kilometers per hour, and in the next 3 hours, he would have covered a distance of 10 3s are 30. Means he has already covered 30 kilometers. Now, after 1 p.m., 3 hours are gone. It means 3 plus 1, 4 p.m. So current time is of 4 p.m. guys. Okay. Now at 4 p.m. the person B is gonna start participating in the race. Okay. अब 4 बजे B ने participate करना शुरू किया. It doesn't mean that A is gonna stop running. A is gonna continue his run. Correct. So let's say from 4 p.m. after T hours the person B is able to catch it. Okay. So let's assume that exactly after T hours. Exactly after T hours, from what time? From 4 p.m. the person B is able to catch A. ठीक है. तो आपसे पूछेगा कि when the person B has already caught the person A, what is the time in the clock? कितने बज रहे होंगे? या आपसे ये भी पूछ सकता है when the person B catches the person A, how much distance they have covered together? है ना? Let's see how to solve this type of question. The person A started running at 1 p.m. He ran for 3 hours. He has already covered 30 kilometers, and now the time is 4 p.m. So at 4 p.m., person A is standing over here 30 kilometers away from person B, and person B is standing over here 30 kilometers behind person A, and he has started running. Now from 4 p.m., exactly after T hours, person B has caught the person A. So in those T hours, person A would have also traveled a certain distance. So at the rate of 10 kilometer per hour, he has traveled for the next T hours. So kitna distance cover karega? It's going to be 10 into T. Okay. And the person B has traveled and he has already caught the person A. Okay. So person A was standing over here, person B has also reached this particular place, and person B has traveled for exactly T hours with a rate of 15 kilometer per hour. So he would have traveled a distance of 15. Okay. Now they are standing at a same point. Why? Because person B has caught the person A in exactly T hours. Okay. What we can do is we can just equate the distances. Okay. So we can see that the person A has covered first 30 kilometers already, and then he has covered a distance of 10 into T in those T hours. And person B has covered a distance of 15 T. And as person B has already caught person A, it means they have traveled the same distance. So this distance traveled by the person A exactly equals to the distance traveled by the person B. Okay. So it's going to be 30 is equal to 15 minus 10, which is going to be 5T. Therefore, the value of T comes out to be 30 by 5, which is 6. So exactly 6 hours from 4 p.m., the person B will be able to catch the person A. ठीक है? तो अभी बज रहे थे कितने? 4, है ना? So यहाँ से 6 घंटे के बाद कितने बचेंगे? रात के 10 बचे. ठीक है? So the person B will be able to catch the person A exactly at 10 p.m. And how much distance person B would have traveled? He has traveled at the rate of 15 kilometer per hour for T hours. Okay. So at 15 kilometer per hour for T is equal to 6 hours, it means 15, 6 and 90. So they have traveled a distance of 90 kilometers. Okay. ऐसा ही question होगा guys. In question में थोड़ी language change हो सकती है, but altogether the format is going to remain same. There will be a person who will be running slow as compared to the other person. The person who runs slower will be starting the race first, and he'll be able to travel a certain distance as per the head start given to the person. And the second person is going to chase the first person. So he'll be asked at what time the chase ends, at what time the second person is able to catch the first person, or when the second person is able to catch the first person, what is going to be the distance that is traveled by the second person. ठीक है, थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बता देता हूँ. एक बंदा जो है वो धीरे चलेगा, एक बंदा जो है वो फास्ट चलेगा. ठीक है. तो जो धीरे चलता है वो पहले निकल जाएगा. क्यों? क्योंकि यार वो धीरे चलता है तो उसको रेस में तो लॉस होने वाला है. अब जो फास्ट चलता है वो जो है वो बाद में निकलेगा. तो जो धीरे चलता है वो चलते जाएगा. ठीक है. उसको थोड़ा हेड स्टार्ट मिलेगा. हेड स्टार्ट क्या होता है? मान लीजिए रेस 2 बजे शुरू होने वाली थी, तो 2 बजे जो धीरे चलने वाला है वो निकल गया, और 4 बजे के आसपास जो है वो तेज चलने वाला जो है वो निकला उसको पकड़ने के लिए. ठीक है. तो थोड़ी देर बाद क्या होगा? 2 घंटे बाद जब दूसरा वाला निकलेगा उसको पकड़ने के लिए, तो वो बंदा ऑलरेडी कुछ डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल कर चुका होगा, लेकिन वो रुकेगा नहीं, वो आगे जाके और डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल करेगा, और पीछे से जो है बी पर्सन वो आके उसको कैच कर लेगा. तो आपसे पूछा जाएगा कि बताओ कितनी देर में पर्सन बी ने पर्सन ए को कैच कर लिया, या पर्सन बी ने जब पर्सन ए को कैच किया तो कितने बज रहे थे घड़ी में, या फिर पर्सन बी ने जब पर्सन ए को कैच किया तो कितना डिस्टेंस उसने ट्रैवल कर लिया था. है ना? दिस इज गोना बी द फॉर्मेट ऑफ द क्वेश्चन गाइस. ओके. नाउ इस फॉर्मेट में लेट्स सी हाउ the language is going to matter. Now over here we were talking about the distance which was traveled. Now there's a possibility we could have given something else instead of distance. We could have given that there is a person A who is eating chapatis, and the person A can eat chapatis at the rate of 10 chapatis per hour. The person B can eat the chapatis at the rate of 15 chapatis per hour. Okay, so person A started eating at 1 p.m., person B started eating at 4 p.m. Tell me the time at which the person B and A would have eaten the same number of chapatis. ऐसा पूछ सकता है, सब कुछ सेम है यहाँ पे अभी भी, ठीक है। टाइम भी आपका 6 आवर्स ही आएगा, टाइम फाइनल भी आपका रात के 10 बजे आएगा कि रात के 10 बजे दोनों ने सेम नंबर ऑफ चपातीस खा ली होगी। और कितनी खाई होगी? दोनों ने 90 का चपातीस खाई होगी, ठीक है। जैसे यहाँ पे डिस्टेंस था, वैसे वहां पे क्या हो गया? नंबर ऑफ चपातीस हो गया। और क्या चेंज कर सकता है? He could say that the person A can fill a tank at the rate of 10 liters an hour, okay, and person B can fill the same tank, or let's say कोई दूसरा टैंक है, ठीक है, जिसकी कैपेसिटी सेम है, and the person B can fill at the rate of 15 liters an hour. Okay. Now person A started filling the tank at 1 p.m. Person B started filling his own tank at 4 p.m. Tell me at what time person B will be able to fill the same amount of tank as person A will be filling. Okay. So exactly after 6 hours from 4 p.m. मतलब रात के 10 बजे दोनों ने सेम अमाउंट ऑफ टैंक भरा होगा अपना अपना, ठीक है। और कितना कैपेसिटी टैंक का भरा होगा? They would have filled together total of 90 liters of tank. और क्या हो सकता है? वॉल के फॉर्म में हो सकता है कि यू आर पेंटिंग अ सर्टेन वॉल। ओके, सो इट कुड से दैट द पर्सन ए इज पेंटिंग एट द रेट ऑफ 10 स्क्वायर फीट पर सेकंड्स और पर आवर, है ना। यहाँ पे एक और वेरिएशन गाइस, इंस्टेड ऑफ पर आवर इट कुड बी पर मिनट एज वेल or per seconds as well. Then also it doesn't make a lot of difference guys if units change होंगे, everything else remains the same. So person A is painting at 10 square feet per hour, person B is painting at 15 square feet per hour. Okay, so tell me at what time they would have painted the same amount of wall? So at 10 p.m. how much amount of wall they would have painted? Each one would have painted 90 square feet respectively guys. Okay, this is how the language is going to change, but the concept remains the same. एक धीरे है, एक फास्ट है। धीरे वाला पहले निकलेगा, फास्ट वाला उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश करेगा। बताओ कितने बजे फास्ट वाला पकड़ लेगा, और जब वो पकड़ लेगा तो कितना काम उसने किया होगा, ठीक है। Now this question could have also be solved using the concept of relative speed guys, but in the initial days of the concept I would say you just try to learn this as it is, because once you get comfortable with this thing then we can move to the concept of relative speed guys. Okay, so we'll be discussing something called as ports and streams. In that ports and streams we require the concept of relative speed. We'll be also discussing questions about trains. So for trains also we require the concept of relative speed. So first we'll just have a general look at the speed and distance thing, then we'll go for average speed, and then we'll learn the concept of relative speed, and then we'll be moving towards those type of questions. Okay, and then once again you can come back with the concept of relative speed, क्योंकि क्या होगा कि आप थोड़ा सा कंफर्टेबल हो जाओगे इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन से, तो जब वापस घूम के आप रिलेटिव स्पीड लेके आओगे पढ़ के, तो आपके लिए तब चीजें करनी आसान हो जाएगी, ठीक है। एक लाइन में रिलेटिव स्पीड से कॉन्सेप्ट एक लाइन में रिलेटिव स्पीड के कॉन्सेप्ट से क्वेश्चन आपका आसानी से सॉल्व हो जाता है, ठीक है। बट फिलहाल लेट्स जस्ट स्टिक विद द ट्रेडिशनल टेक्निक। ओके, I would require an acknowledgement from your end, guys. Okay, so please type a yes in the chat if you have understood this concept. Also, let me just remind you, there is a certain time gap of 30 seconds. There's a certain delay, I would say, of 30 seconds. तो जो भी मैं बोलता हूँ वो 30 seconds बाद आप तक पहुँचता है ना? So थोड़ा सा patience रखना, है ना? Please quickly type a yes in the chat once you have understood this concept, so that we can move to the questions part, guys. Thank you for the responses. Perfect. Let's move to the questions part now. Okay. Please have a look at the very first question, guys. It is similar to the previous one. Read the question carefully, try to solve it, and type your answers in the chat, guys. I just timed the question for you. Your time starts now. Okay, some of you have got the answer. Let's just have a look at the solution for the question. Okay. Now, A can run at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. B can run at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. So definitely B is faster than A. Let's say this is my starting point. And from this particular point, A is running in this direction at the speed of 10 kilometers an hour. Okay. Now, A started running at 3 p.m. and B started the race exactly at 6 p.m. So for the first 3 hours, A is running alone. He was running alone. Okay, so at 10 kilometers per hour, he ran alone for 3 hours. It means he has covered a distance of 30 kilometers, guys. Okay, now it's exactly 6 p.m. and the person A is standing over here 30 kilometers away from the person B. Now, at 6 p.m., the person B started running towards A. This is my person B, running at the speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now he has started running towards person A, and the time currently is 6 p.m. Okay. Now let's say from 6 p.m. let's say exactly after T hours, the person B is able to catch the person A. So in those T hours, A would have traveled a certain distance. So A is traveling at the rate of 10 kilometers an hour. And exactly after T hours, the person B is able to catch A. It means A would have traveled a distance of 10 into T in that particular time. The person B has caught the person A, it means he would have reached to the exact position that A has reached right now. And the person B has traveled at the rate of 20 kilometers per hour for the next 3 hours. He would have covered a distance of 20 into T. As the person B has caught the person A, it means they have traveled the same amount of distance. So we can just equate the distances. Person A has traveled a distance of 30 kilometers